Here we go. Welcome back to the SOOP Duel series, everyone. Game number 1 was Stork versus Rush. Stork spawning down here in the bottom right-hand corner. We've got Rush in the blue in the top left. A lot of people in the comments in the chat were saying that their prediction is a full sweep on the side of Rush. I'm not sure I agree. I definitely think that Rush is a strong player and they should be able to win this series, but I don't think it's going to be a full sweep. I think Stork's got something special in this series. The reason why he's never made it, I think, to a finals or anything in the ASL is because of his other matchups, his weaker matchups. His Protoss versus Terran is very strong. He excels especially with carrier play. He's very good at getting into carrier and utilizing them tactically. A highly intelligent player who struggles really only with his microcontrol and macro. His fundamentals are a little bit lax. He's a little bit slower than a lot of these other players, but his overall tactics and understanding of the game are just about unmatched. He's going to open here with a Nexus first. And Rush is going to open with a CC first. Interesting. Both players opting for a macro advantage in this early game. And we'll see if Stork wants to try to throw down another Nexus after he spots this Nexus first, because he can't, or the CC first. He can't really punish this. And he is scouting cross map, so he's going to find this very quickly. But what will be his response? I imagine just a single gateway going up into some Dragoons. Doesn't really need to make anything at the early parts of this game. He could even skip Dragoon range and go directly into Reaver, try to put on some pressure, but the other option is to just make the gateways and the range. Don't make any Dragoons. And then try to get a third base out early. We actually saw this in our first series here on the channel. The first SDS. Where the Protoss and Terran player both opened with CC and Nexus first, respectively. And the Protoss tried to quickly get into another Nexus and ended up getting punished quite badly for that. And so we'll see if Stork's able to get away with something similar or if he wants to play this out a little bit differently. First Marine is out. That's going to push away this pesky probe. Will be shoved back. Rush doesn't know about the Nexus first, but he's going to be happy with his position, knowing that he's gotten away with this CC first, and he's got his bunker up. He's not receiving any pressure right now. He's going to send out that SCV and go look for Stork out on the map. Might be coming in just in time to get blocked, though, unfortunately. This SCV scout is quite late. There might be a Dragoon on that ramp and prevent him from seeing really much of anything. There's the Robo. Skipping range into Robo. Stork wants to put some damage on. Definitely wants to get over here and deal a bit of damage with that Reaver. It's not the quickest Reaver in the world, but it's got a lot of oomph behind it. There's quite a good macro. Quite good macro going on behind this. And so Stork is going to come over here, put some pressure on, and then possibly expand a little bit earlier than he otherwise would. As Rush powers up, getting his 2 factories going. This is going to be quite a difficult push map for Rush, all the way cross map. It's kind of tough to put together something like a 5 or a 6 factory attack and just bowl the Protoss over. And so we'll see if he wants to slowly creep out onto 4 bases before doing any sort of attack like that? Or does he want to try to come out and punish? Like, if Stork takes this really fast third Nexus, there could be an opportunity to come across, even though it's cross map, and punish him. For the time being, doesn't have a lot of information. The SCV was killed. The first vulture is out looking around the map, checking for any sort of proxy. Rush being very diligent with these early units. You can see he's checking up at top left, his third base, just to go and make sure that there's no proxy. He's going to check 12 o'clock as well before coming over here and throwing down mines. Mines over at the normal third base, but Stork has taken the third over to the center right. It'll be up to Rush to scout that, because if he doesn't know exactly where he's at in terms of the curve of the game, could end up making a mistake thinking that there's more pressure coming than there actually is. All right, he manages to slip by here. He sees the Nexus. That's very important. He saw that. He's able to click it and get an idea of when that was started. So it's a very fast Nexus follow-up from Stork. There is an opportunity to punish. If Rush throws down a bunch of factories right now, might have an opportunity to come in and pounce on this developing Protoss player, similar to what we saw in the first SDS. Just going to be falling back for now. Stork has all of his Dragoons in the right position. Very important that he blocks any sort of an early damage. Run-bys are very common in today's meta. Always looking for opportunities with those vultures to try and get some sort of damage going. As he's sitting back here, mostly just macroing. And I just saw a bunch of factories going down. Okay, let's take a look at this factory count. Going up to 5. And he's got a couple of Goliaths out. He is going to be able to snipe down the Observer. This is quite important. Not going to have any information inside the Terran base for a while. Stork is playing a little bit blind. Only 4 gateways. And he starts +1 attack and a Citadel. That is interesting. +1 attack for his carriers, which I don't see any carriers coming out anytime soon. Just had a scan. He sees the spinning cybernetics core. That might actually throw Rush off in a massive way. If he sees that spinning cybernetics core, he's gonna think carriers immediately, of course. And he might think that, well, you've got some hidden Stargate somewhere. You must not be producing off of all your gateways and getting into some early carriers, but that's not the case. Stork just threw down a whole bunch of gateways, and he is piling out only ground units. He did get the Citadel, so he will have Zealot speed here soon, and Rush is pushing out with incomplete information. Also running into some gateway units before sieging up. His Dragoons are going to run forward and start to gun down some tanks. Good target fire there from Stork. He's run out of Zealots though now. And the Goliaths are doing a good job body blocking or tanking damage for these tanks. Will be pushed back for now. No decisive win on either side. Zealot speed is just about done. And it should be done for this next interaction. There's quite a few more factories coming online now for Rush. Running in towards this natural. He's gonna block with Zealots, but that won't last forever. Using a Zealot to clear some of these mines as the Dragoons make their way back. The army is moving into position though as he sees the Dragoons are over there towards the 4th base. This is a great opportunity for Rush to just suddenly arrive at this 3rd and start to set up. We do have 1 shuttle. But what's inside there? Just pure Zealots. He drops a few Zealots there at the front. Looks like that one is just going to get cleaned up. Not really drawing any fire onto these tanks. And Rush is clearing out everything. This looks like a straight up victory for Rush as he kills every single Dragoon and pushes forward for the win. CC first is so strong, guys. Even against Nexus first. Really feels like Rush has a massive advantage, especially after that engage. Really good job utilizing the vultures to kind of pull those dragoons out of position and then move into the correct spot. Now going right for the throat here into the natural before even killing that Nexus at center right. He's gonna go directly over to this fourth base. This is a little bit crazy from Rush though. Maybe if Stork can come in from all sides, hit him from 4 different directions, he might actually be able to break this. He's killing a lot of tanks. He's gonna get that one last tank. Looks like this final Dragoon will end up going down. It's in the midst of these tanks. He could draw a mine, but he's not on top of that right now. More Zealots coming out, more reinforcements coming down. I think Rush has got this. It looked a little scary there for a moment as the Protoss army was spilling in from all sides, but here he is clearing out the last few units, and Stork leaves this game. He is an absolute shambles after that game 1 on Vermeer. Starting out Nexus first, cross spawn, you'd think he would have a big advantage if you ever listen to some of the other casters in the scene, but with that CC first, definitely the advantage goes to Rush, and it played out almost exactly the same as we had in that first series. Kind of crazy, but it seems like taking a very fast Nexus after you scout the CC first, maybe it's not a good idea. Yeah, Royal versus Snow, we saw almost an identical build order choice from either side. The Terran player CC first and the Protoss Nexus first into a very fast third Nexus, like pre 6 minutes, and then a punish from the Terran and a win. Seems like there needs to be something else. There needs to be a stopgap, maybe a Reaver or something, just to keep yourself alive against that sort of pressure. The 2 base push is so strong off of CC first, so getting a little bit too greedy. Now we've got game number 2, Stork versus Rush. I'll take a look at the chat after game number 2, guys. Sorry about that. We're gonna get right into this one. That was a very quick game. And we've got so many to go. This is the best of 7. Stork spawning cross map once again. Will he try for another Nexus first? It seems unlikely that Rush would do CC first twice in a row. I think that would be a little out of the ordinary. But that might mean that he could get away with it. If Stork is not expecting another CC first, the possibility is there that Rush could just get away with it a second time. And Stork, it seems hard to handle. Very hard to handle. Sorry, I need to drink some water during this cast. Yesterday I did SCSL, the SOOP Duel series, and I also did KCM at night, so we logged in probably about 7 hours of casting yesterday. My voice was feeling a little bit sore at the end of the night, so I gotta keep myself lubricated here so that we can continue doing this every single day. The only time that we won't be having the SOOP Duel series is, I believe, Monday and Tuesday. Aside from this week, I do have some plans for Sunday, so tomorrow there won't be a cast, but the next day there will be. I know that sounds weird, but I am in a different time zone, so no cast tomorrow, no SDS tomorrow, but the next day we will be having one of those. Nice block there, preventing Stork from getting up this ramp and getting any extra information. Rush has opened with a barracks on this low ground. Was that another Nexus first? I believe it was. Another Nexus first here from Stork. And that's going to be scouted now by Rush. He sees that, warping in. And of course you went Nexus first twice in a row, even after losing. Rush is going to be kicking himself for not going CC first in this game. He definitely could have gotten away with it again. But he's going gasless fast expand, which is nearly as good. He's sending a Marine across the map. Wants to pressure a probe or two off the line, potentially. Nexus first with one gateway follow-up. It's about as greedy as it gets. He's not really going to get anything out of this. Zealot is already on the field. It's just going to chase down this Marine. We'll never catch it. But, oh, wow. Great kill there. Getting rid of the SCV means that he's not going to get the scout in the main, even though there's nothing on the ramp. Bit of a mistake from Rush. He could have gotten up there into the main and seen whether range was starting, if there was a robo, what the follow-up from Stork is going to be. But now he has no idea. He has no idea that there's no range on the way, and it's probably just going to be that robo. So robo pops up in the natural. 4 Marines now to bully back this Zealot. I think Rush is going to try to get away with not building any bunker, and he should be able to make that work, at least for the time being. Oh no, he does start a bunker. All right, really, this bunker is unnecessary. There should be a vulture out soon to help bully back this stuff. Doesn't really need it, but he didn't get the full scout of the main, right? There could be 2 gateways up there and range on the way, so he has to be a little bit careful. Gets the bunker. It's not that expensive. A CC in bottom right. Oh my gosh, I just noticed. There is a hidden CC in bottom right. Rush is insane. He is going to try to hide a base right under Stork's nose. We'll see how long it takes for Stork to scout this. This is extremely important that he finds this base. Otherwise, Rush could get away with just an insane amount of greed. Sitting back at home, going into like double upgrade with double armory and getting directly into science facility. He's going to have a ton of extra gas, a ton of extra minerals that doesn't really make sense where they're coming from. A Stargate is already up for Stork. Is he going to go Nexus first into 2-gate Arbiter? Is that what we're seeing? Or 2-gate Carrier? Either way, this is a kind of a wild build from Stork. I wonder how it's going to match up against this play. Yeah, there it is. 2-gate, 2 Stargate Carrier. Well, it's unlikely that Rush will push very quickly since he's got this hidden base. He's more likely to just set up and try to take a third at kind of a normal timing to hide the fact that he has this extra income and gear up for the late game. And so that might play into Stork's hands a little bit. Might be able to trick him just slightly. The carrier number, as it gets higher and higher, it becomes harder and harder for the Terran player to deal with. So the longer he delays an actual push, the slower he is at coming across the map and putting pressure on Stork, the better it's going to be for Stork. 2 carriers are already on the way. Those carriers are likely not going to go all the way down to bottom left just to scout. I think that would be a little bit crazy if we saw that happen. An observer might come down to bottom right and take a look, but Stork is very low on units with this build. He doesn't have a lot of stuff. So sending even 1 unit down to bottom right, it's a tight build. It's not like he's got a lot of things to just, go out and scout with. He's only got about 3 to 5 Dragoons at the moment. More factories are coming up now. Rush, is he going to try and take a third base without scouting? I hope he gets a comsat going and scans that main, figure out what's going on here. At the same time, Stork hoping he'll be able to get 4 to 6 carriers out before that happens. There it is. The scout comes through. Rush scanning this main. He sees exactly what's happening even before the first 2 carriers pop. So that's very important stuff. Oh, something's heading down to bottom right. There's a red blob. There's a little red blip heading down to bottom right. It's a probe. He sees it. He sees the CC, and he sees how many SCVs are here. This is a massive problem for Stork. He needs to send army units down to this bottom right ASAP. Here comes the Dragoons. And how will Rush respond? Is he going to go for a full-on attack while the stuff is cleaning up bottom right? Or is he going to lift that, go and expand somewhere else? Just pull the SCVs back. Seems like he's heading out on the map, but he's heading what appears to be down towards bottom right. Maybe he wants to just save this base? I'm not entirely sure. SCVs are making a run for it. Not many of them will die. And the Dragoons are a little bit trapped now on this high ground. The CC should be able to live if he pulls it back. Buying a little bit of time here. Stork gonna force a couple of extra sieges and even picks off a Goliath. He might be able to get a second Goliath, actually. He gets 2 Goliaths for these Dragoons. Not bad. And a third? Not quite. Not quite getting a third Goliath. So 4 Dragoons going down for 2 Goliaths. It's not the greatest trade in the world, but getting rid of any Goliaths at this moment is going to be painful for Rush. He's going to have a hard time. Oh, gosh. He runs by with the Vultures. This is a huge moment getting into this main base. He's going to kill so many probes from Stork. Stork is trying to deal damage down at bottom right, but he's taking so many losses on his workers. He will be able to stop this, kill these SCVs and force the lift. Maybe even kill this CC. But at the same time, Rush is just doing so much. He's killed a ton of workers, and he's initiating a push over towards Stork's high ground. He's heading over towards that mineral-only expansion. The 2 carriers here are going to have to retreat, leave that CC alive. It'll be able to float somewhere else, maybe down to bottom center, and expand. Rush, meanwhile, pushing over towards this high ground. Will he be able to get here in time? Set up before the army arrives. He's going to send some vultures by once again. Get some kills over here in the natural. Drag some of these forces away from the front. Rush has paused, though, for the time being. Not enough Goliaths. Definitely not enough Goliaths to deal with 4 carriers. It's getting a little bit scary here for Rush now. Stork with 4 carriers, and it's about to be 6. He's on 3 bases, and that 4th base is coming up. Rush sitting here on just the 2. And floating this CC a long way, all the way down to bottom center. So you can try to get some more mining going. The carrier threat is increasing in potential danger moment by moment. It's getting worse and worse for Rush. So he's adding on more factories back at home. He's really cranked that factory count up a lot. And he's looking to push directly across this map. Force a fight with Stork where he can actually dive on top of these carriers. But it's not going to be easy. It will only get more difficult, though, as time goes on. Once Stork has Templar as well, my goodness, is it difficult. He's already got the Citadel, but I don't see a Templar Archives. He just started Zealot Speed, so there's a moment here where Rush, maybe he can bust through. Let's set up the tanks here on the low ground, pushing forward slowly. Zealots are in very low number. There's only 1 Zealot I can see in the front. Gonna target down tanks here as they come forward. One of these carriers is going to be focused down. 1 carrier is super low. Some reinforcements coming from the left-hand side. They're going to be able to target down onto these carriers. Actually, they just run away. And Stork manages to save quite a few of his Dragoons. He's still got a reasonable Dragoon army. And the carriers can maneuver over this high ground just to the south of that mineral-only base. We'll see if they're able to snipe the requisite number of tanks so that the Dragoons can finally engage. He's not moving around this army to cut off reinforcements, though. That makes me feel a little bit worried for Stork's chances now. Coming up, starting to hit these tanks, but he's engaging with the army at the same time, so a lot of the tanks are getting great value. Splashing down these tanks, or splashing down these Dragoons before they can really fight with the Goliaths. The Zealots are right on top of this, though, and the tank shots are actually splashing a lot of damage onto the Goliaths. These carriers are being microed to perfection. He's almost cleared this. Stork has almost cleared everything, but some vultures managed to slip by into the main. They're going to cause absolute havoc while the remainder of the tanks gets cleaned up. How many probes will he lose before stopping this? He's killed every tank in the front, but he is losing so much of this very important economy. You can see how powerful Stork is with the carriers, but how much he struggles with just the regular mechanics of the game, keeping things in his wall. Oh, Rush just leaves. What? Okay. There it is. Stork wins. I guess he stopped the push. There was still a base down towards bottom center, and the carriers have been drawn all the way back into the main, but Rush decides it's not worth it. He's just going to tap out. A little bit of a surprise tap out there for me, but it is what it is. Wants to move on to the next map. Citadel is map number 3. We're all tied up at 1-1, and we'll take a look at the chat. What did you guys think about that tap out? Rush more like Crush, am I right? Yeah, Eddie Slide. Absolutely. In the first game, the pre-6 minute third Nexus is so greedy. Absolutely it is. Turns out to be too much greed. The Terrans are punishing it almost every time. I think you're completely right, Proxyoxy. Stork really needs to use that high ground just below the mineral only. I feel like he missed out on a lot of potential damage. Yeah. Just diving in and killing a few extra tanks before the engagement. However, he did end up winning that game in the end. He still managed to push through. His control was insanely good with the carriers as he was pushing forward with his other units. Rush could only have prolonged the inevitable. What's up, Scurf? Think it was inevitable? Perhaps. The proxy or the hidden third base, hidden third CC down in bottom right got scouted pretty quickly. And so he was in a difficult position. That is for sure. As long as Stork kept an eye on his carriers and didn't allow them to just fly into Goliaths, I think it would have been real bad. All right, we're going to jump into our next game. Even though he didn't lose it, he wasn't mining on a third for a long time leading up to that fight. Absolutely. It took a long time for that CC to float down to bottom center. And so he wasn't mining off of a third for a little bit too long there. Here we are. Once again with Stork versus Rush. Rush over here in the top, or in the bottom right. Stork in the bottom left. Has a little bit of an advantage now, Stork. 2-1. And Rush. A little bit of an early tap out there. He might be feeling discouraged after that last game. We're here on Citadel now. It's been a while since I cast a game on Citadel, but it is a pretty decent map. I think it's a bit Terran favored when it comes to brass tacks. Terrans seem to have really good push potential on this map. There's so many walls and corners that they can utilize. that are very difficult positions for Protoss to break through. But those same walls and corners can be very good for carriers, blocking the Terrans of mobility, the ability to chase down the carriers and allowing the carriers to kite around those obstructions. We'll see if Stork wants to go very quick carrier again. I can't imagine he would do anything else, but he surprised me a lot last season going into the SSL when he was playing at a very high APM and he started doing a lot more robo style of play. He was getting into that modern style robo storms and even managed to take out, who was it? Mind. That was the player he took out. He took out Mind in the qualifier in a really good best of 3. And he got me kind of excited, honestly. I was pretty excited last season to see Stork play. And like I said, he fell a little bit short. Doesn't mean he can't come back this season and blow our socks off. If he takes out Rush, that would be a good start. And so, either player opening up without a fast Nexus or Command Center. This time Stork being a little bit more cautious. He's going to open with a Dragoon first. Scout right after Nexus. And he will get range this time. So not going rangeless, not going Nexus first. This is about as cautious as it gets for a player like Stork. He's going to have all the tools necessary to stop a potential attack. Coming in forward, he tries to block the SCV, but barely not able to get it. And the full scout from Rush. He sees the range upgrade on the way. He knows he needs a bunker now. Those multiple Dragoons will be on the field shortly. And they will have that early range, so not going to be tenable to fight that with just a few early Marines. He's going to need that bunker down soon. He actually has his add-on already. Only one Vulture out on the map. Mines will be done soon. There's a potential he could put mines behind this Dragoon and prevent its escape. He's heading over towards the natural now. He's going to go right into the natural mineral line. Sees that no probes have been transferred just yet. That's actually a mistake by Stork. It's not that Rush is early. It's that Stork is late. He should have had his probes already transferred as the Nexus was finishing, but he wasted a little bit of time. I think he was microing some of his frontal Dragoon, that Dragoon that was fighting against the Marines there, and he kind of missed the timing. But thank goodness he did. Otherwise, that Vulture might have gotten a few kills in the end. Stork gets his transfer, as does Rush. And everything is relatively even at this point. The mines will come out and start to surround this Protoss player. Taking a look at the map. There's a fantastic push path for Rush since we're here on horizontal spawns. Ooh, almost got hit by that mine. Very close there, but good job from Stork. Pulling back those Dragoons and getting those hits off. If Rush pushes along the bottom side, he can set up tanks to hit 6 o'clock. If Stork decides to take that base, without even going into the 6 o'clock location, he can actually set up along the outside of the wall and start to hit that base. So Rush is putting mines all over the left-hand side because he assumes that's where Stork will expand. And I think he's right in that assumption. That's definitely where Stork will choose to That's definitely the direction that Stork will choose to expand. Taking this 6 o'clock would probably be a little bit suicidal. So the more that Rush can slow that down with mines and vultures and catching probes, the better off Rush will be. He's already got these vultures with speed, and he's moving out with this very small force. You can see Stork trying to take this mineral-only base and clearing out mines on the map. As he does so, he's scouted the main. He sees what's there. Just this double factory, just 2 factories worth of units. There's only... Oh, Stargate comes up. There's going to be a Reaver here soon. Tanks are pushing forward. There's no Nexus yet. He's going to go after that. Oh gosh, is this... He's not going to make that Nexus, is he? Okay, good. He doesn't make the Nexus. He's going to kill the pylon most likely. Vultures are coming down. He's ready to flank this. The Dragoons do manage to sneak back up on a high ground. If those Dragoons went a little bit too far forward, the Vultures coming from behind might have been able to trap those with a bunch of mines and give Rush a very good trade, but Stork backs off appropriately. Quickly. He doesn't allow the trap to happen. Now he's going to be able to come out here and take his 3rd base while transitioning into his carrier play once again. He's opened Reaver, which is the more traditional way of moving towards carrier. You need kind of a stopgap, something to slow down the Terran pushes until those carriers are out in force. And so this time around, we will see Stork with that extra unit, having a bit of extra oomph. And he's moving it around towards the natural. I don't really like if he wants to dive in. Oh god. Okay, drop the Zealot. Not gonna drop the Zealot. That mine is really well placed. Nice Zealot bomb there, killing off a tank right away. Does need to keep this Reaver shuttle alive though. If that Reaver shuttle goes down, he is gonna be in a lot of trouble. It'll be an immediate unsiege and move out from Rush if that happens. So keeping that Reaver shuttle alive for the time being. And getting this 3rd base online, making sure that these vultures don't do any damage. Might actually eat that mine there. But I don't think that he's actually spotted this. Okay, he just spotted it now. Rush gets the scan into the main. It's decision time now for Rush. He needs to decide, is he going to take this late, or is he just going to add as many factors as he can and move across the map? Try to punish before carriers are out. I think the answer is an immediate punish. Everything unsieges. He's going to try to push forward, get some shots initially on this shuttle. That's actually quite a big deal. Getting some hits on that shuttle is going to be massively impactful. He's actually gunning down all the Reavers as well. The Reavers go down immediately. Some poor control there from Stork to allow both of his Reavers to die so quickly. And for not much recompense, Rush is just going to head down this bottom lane exactly as anticipated and start to set up along these walls where his tanks can get massive value. He may even put a tank down in that 6 o'clock base on the other side of the wall. Seems like that's not going to happen though. But it would help to set up tanks in a location where the ground army really can't get to it. Counterattack is Stork's real only option. He does have a Reaver out once again, and he's utilizing it to try and defend this 3rd base. Shoving in now with the Dragoons. But he's going to be stopped for the time being. More units are coming across. Is he bringing the Reaver as well? I think he might be bringing that Reaver shuttle too to try and break into the natural. But meanwhile, Rush is bearing down on this Nexus. Where are the carriers? They got to be coming out here soon. However, bunch of turrets have been added. Rush is doing this perfectly, adding on the turrets as he shoves in. He's going to have so much anti-air. 2 carriers is just not going to cut it. Meanwhile, over here at the natural, the Reaver and Goon attack is making its way directly into this natural and up into the main base. He loses the shuttle, though, to a turret. That's not how it's supposed to go. Target on the Reaver? No, he does not target the Reaver, so the Reaver's going to live for quite a good amount of time. There's the target finally onto that Reaver. And most of the Dragoons are now gone. Rush is clearing out everything on Stork's side of the map. And only 2 carriers are out now. Heading God knows where, up towards the north, as his natural and third base are just fall one by one in front of Stork's massive army. In front of Rush's massive army. Stork takes a base in top right-hand corner. Not sure what that's all about. He's got about 3 probes to go ahead and saturate that. Some zealots are coming out. And he's going to be able to get on top of some of these tanks, but he doesn't have zealot speed. So it's frankly a pretty bad attack. Maybe he can barely clear these turrets and start to hit the tanks with the Goliaths not able to shove forward. No more Goliaths are coming up. And all he needs to do is focus down the interceptors. There's no reason to dive on top of the carriers here. Killing the interceptors is more than enough. You know that Protoss is on 1 base only. And so he won't be able to produce anything else if he's constantly producing interceptors on 4 carriers. Slowly pushing in now towards this main. Rush is ready to end this game. Even if he stays completely still and really doesn't do anything, he should still be able to win. But he's going to continue towards the main base, try to end this as soon, as swiftly as possible. A shuttle making its way over towards that natural. Wants to drop off a Reaver potentially in that area. Start to deal some damage. Here comes the attack into the main. Meanwhile, Reaver gets dropped here. Is going to kill the turret, I guess, but should really be going after some of these SCVs. One more big hit. Oh my god, that was so many kills. Oh, that was a lot of kills, but I don't think it's going to matter. He's targeting the Nexus right now. There are 5 carriers. Wait a second. 5 carriers is a lot, but I mean, the interceptors, they just can't be remade, especially once this Nexus goes down. Diving in on top of one of these carriers, he's probably going to get that one. Looks like he'll just barely manage to pick that off, but more carriers come up, and the Goliaths have been basically depleted. All the Goliaths are now gone. He's still focusing that Nexus. Can he actually get it here in time before all the tanks die? Well, more Goliaths arrive. And so the Nexus will fall. There's only 2 probes at this location anyway. And so Stork will be forced to tap out. Rush with another win. Shutting down this carrier play once again. Oh, I misspoke earlier. It was 1-1 after that game number 2. I think I said that Stork had a lead. But here it is with Rush taking game number 3. He is now 1-2. And our score screen has been updated. Let's take a look at our lovely chat. If you guys have any questions for me, feel free to post it. The 6 o'clock is brutal for Protoss in this exact setup, I agree. I do, however, think it's a cool aspect of the map. Yeah, it's kind of reminiscent of Pantheon. There are some really similar parts of this map to Pantheon, where it's very easy to push along certain angles, and it's very difficult for the Protoss to stop a Terran who's entrenched in those locations. Eddie said, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes Stargate again to try and abuse the close airspace. Absolutely, he did. All right, guys, thank you for the words of encouragement. Looks like we're getting some, we're getting some gems. The Spanish stream is getting some gems. So make sure to support you guys. We can't lose out to the Spanish stream. They have a similar goal to us. I'll bring up that goal once again. I wasn't able to sync it with Eddie Slide. Thank you for the gems, my friend. I wasn't able to sync it with SOOP because the here, I'll bring it up again. The SOOP client isn't totally integrated yet with Streamlabs, so I'll have to update this manually. Okay, I'll figure that out a little bit later. We're at 300 gems now, guys. We're at 10% of our goal. Thank you so much, Eddie Slide, for your support, man. I really do appreciate it. All right, we'll get into our next game now. And here we go. Rush. Oh, we're actually gonna look at Stork first. Stork down in the bottom left-hand corner. Fallen a little bit behind after that loss on Citadel. Rush has the advantage now. Once again, horizontal spawns. I believe we're back here on Polypoid. We'll get a rematch on this map. We'll see if either player wants to open with an early Nexus or CC respectively. There's a wide range of possibilities in between the quick gateway or factory and a Nexus first, CC first that either player could go for, but how likely are they to go for these early expansions? And how likely is an opponent to try to punish something like that? Well, Stork opens with his gateway and a Rush throws down his barracks, so it looks like neither player interested in opening up with an extreme economic build. Both of them just wanting to get their early units out and prevent any sort of disruption to their early game. We'll see if Rush, yeah, he does throw down the gas. And so with that gas coming up, gonna look to get maybe a single factory into expansion on the side of Stork. He's got his cybernetics core on the way. And I'm curious whether he'll skip the range this time or not. He's gotten away with skipping range in the past. And last game, he didn't skip range. He went directly for that range. And still, it didn't really do much for him. Rush was able to scout that, figure out it was coming, and maneuver around it appropriately. Stork did build a Zealot this time, interestingly. And he's sending it out in a strange direction as well. Stork just scouted this SCV, and he's looking for the Terran's main base, but look at what the Zealot is doing right now. It's just kind of hanging out in the middle of the map. It's actually heading over towards top left. Or maybe top right. I'm not sure, but it's not really going to do too much over in that area of the map. Meanwhile, Rush is already down at the bottom of his ramp with a bunch of Marines. He's ready for any sort of Zealot to come in. The Dragoon picks off this SCV, helped in no small part by that probe tickling away with its 5 damage per shot. And now there's just 4 Marines here. The Zealot Dragoon combination is actually going to kill so much. He gets 3 Marines immediately. This is a really good trade overall for Stork, and he may just kill the Marine and then go after... Oh my god, that was a missed shot. That was so unfortunate. Goes after this Vulture. Vulture only takes the single hit and will be able to run away, but that is really painful. Now there's nothing for this bunker. The bunker is almost complete. It's so close. Will he be able to kill it? He does manage to get that bunker complete. We'll be able to slide the Marine in there. So Rush can now stabilize, but that was a little bit scary. Losing 4 Marines early, only putting damage onto a single Dragoon and killing 1 Zealot. This has really frustrated Rush's plans. Now he doesn't have Marines to come out and push away that Dragoon to get his Vulture out on the map, and there's quite a few Dragoons out here. I'm surprised that Stork is being so conservative with those Dragoons. I thought he would come across and make sure that he could stop the Vulture from coming out. But now the Vulture is on the map. Stork will have to retreat. He's going to bring all these Dragoons together. See if he can't find that Vulture coming in from an angle. Actually, he will spot that and start to chase it down. He has Dragoon range just about to finish up. And I believe he has a second factory on the way. Rush has a second factory coming up while he pushes out with 3 Marines and 2 tanks. Kind of surprised to see Rush push after losing all of his early Marines. He built 3 more and he's still going to go for this. One of the Dragoons is very low, so I can kind of understand it, but this does feel a little bit risky. Maybe he just wants to take over the high ground and then start laying down mines, and he will retreat. However, he's moving pretty close to this natural. He's actually going to go in for it, diving directly in here and starting to throw down mines in the face of these Dragoons. One Dragoon just does end up getting a little bit stuck there, and he targets down the low HP Dragoon as well. Oh my gosh. The probe actually manages to snipe down that very important mine as it's about to connect. I don't know how that mine didn't connect. Somehow dealing no damage there. And now with the observer out, he will be able to clear this. Pretty reasonable hold for Stork. I really don't know what happened with that mine. I think it must have glitched out or something, because he definitely targeted one of the other mines with his Dragoons and managed to pick that off, but he didn't really hit that first mine. So getting a little bit lucky there. Stork holding on with some reasonable control in his natural and having the right number of Dragoons at the right time. Rush has been shut out. He's been pushed back. He's going to try and sneak another Vulture into the main. Let's see if he can actually slip by here. That Dragoon not being paid attention to at all is going to end up eating this mine shot, and it wasn't able to kill the Vulture either. Oh, he really wants to get that one hit on with the probe, but it's already getting a bunch of damage here. 3 probes have gone down, and it will finally fall. That Dragoon managing to clear out the mess, but Rush has a solid worker advantage now. I thought the push was a little bit ill-conceived, but in the end, he did a great job with the micro, and he managed to slip that Vulture in after the fact, which actually got more damage, I think, than the initial attack itself. We're now going to have a Reaver coming online here shortly. And Stork can look to start hitting these mineral lines, or at least pressuring Rush and preventing him from moving out too easily. It's still looking like a Rush favored game. Are we going to see another carrier transition out of Stork? Feels like a bit of a desperate game from him. I wonder if he'll, in a desperate situation, fall back onto carriers, or will he try something a little bit different? Go for the more efficient shuttle style and try to macro his way out of this situation. He's sent a probe to the top left. Looks like he's ready to take a base up there. Gonna throw down a Nexus around the 9-minute mark. It's a relatively on-curve Nexus timing. There's the fleet beacon. He is going to go into carriers. All right. Double Stargate carriers. Stork. He does not change plans. This guy is dedicated to the way of the Interceptor. He's been honing that blade for many, many years, sharpening it, folding that steel over and over again. That is the weapon of choice. Now with the Reaver out in the front. Let's see if he can take a better trade this time against Rush as he starts to push out. Because I really do think that was his mistake in the Citadel game, was not keeping these Reavers alive and slowing down this push at all. Thank you so much for the gift sub, Acardiox. Really appreciate you, man. Thank you for the support. Here comes that push. Reaver is out here in the front. He loses the shuttle immediately. Great shot, though, from the Reaver. He actually does a lot of damage here, targeting down quite a few tanks, but he loses his entire army. Only one Dragoon will survive. And so Rush just unsieging, re-rallying all of his factories across the map. He's going to go for it, guys. He must be aware of the carrier transition, or at least suspect that it might be that way. With the limited number of ground troops available to Stork at the moment, it's really his kind of kryptonite in these games. These early pushes and his inability to micro properly the Reavers in order to slow down. If we see someone like Snow microing his Reavers against a push like this, he'll keep those Reavers alive for an insane amount of time and get crazy value out of them, but doesn't seem like Stork is quite there yet. With his Reaver control, he brings out the carriers now, but he's got so few interceptors. The tanks are already bearing down on him. Oh, go for the... There's one Goliath that's got no HP. Kill it. Okay, he does kill that. He's got Reavers here on the defense, but his Vultures are getting in on top of the mineral lines. Tanks are shoving forward as well, getting on top of everything. A lot of probes are going to go down on these top patches. The Reaver is not moving into position to stop this. More Vultures pressuring in. Stork is on the edge of defeat. He's got carriers overhead, killing a lot of tanks, dealing a ton of damage, but there goes all the probes, down to just 18 now. 17 probes remain to the 50 SCVs, and there's really no way to bring this one back. After so much damage, Stork is falling flat. He's got one Reaver here that's desperately trying to get rid of that Vulture. It finally manages to do so. But there's still mines inside the main. I don't see an observer here either to help clear this out. The Nexus at the Natural is gone. And the only thing Stork has to his name is this Nexus in the top left and 2 carriers to his name. I think maybe a 3rd carrier is coming out to join this fight, but more Dragoons falling straight up to mines. That is not a good way to begin this counterattack. Stork has to get some absolutely insane levels of damage. And I just don't see it happening. Diving directly onto the first carrier. He kills it immediately, shutting that down, and Stork has to tap out. GG Rush, it appears, has Stork's number. He knows what he's up to. And he's hitting these timing attacks exactly when they need to happen to prevent Stork from ever getting into that high carrier count. That's one of those funny things. If you ever ask a professional StarCraft player, how do you deal with 8 carriers? And mostly their answer will be, well, you just never let them get that. They never let them get to 8 carriers. That's the counter to 8 carriers. You never let them get 8 carriers. I think that Rush has taken that to heart. He is absolutely hell-bent on preventing his opponent from ever getting into that high number of carriers where he can actually battle him straight up with his army. I'm going to take a look at the chat now. Thanks for the cast, Saiyan, and the 7 hours of casting yesterday. Still got to catch the latest KCM. It is coming out tonight. It'll be out in about 8 hours. A Cardiox. Thank you so much for the support, my friend. Each player would need 4 wins to clinch the match? That is correct. Rush is on match point now. Well, he's got that one win with carriers, yes, but he has an insane amount of experience with carrier play. This guy is the carrier master. He plays carriers almost every game versus Terran. So I'm not surprised to see him diving headfirst into carrier play nearly every game against Rush. We're going to go into our next map, Apocalypse. Will Stork continue to dive into carriers? Or is he going to trade up and switch up his play now after going 3-1 in Rush's favor? That's got to be a lot of pressure, being behind this far and knowing that your opponent only needs one more win to clinch it out. Whereas Stork, he needs to win 3 times in a row to take this win home. Here on Apocalypse, we've got Rush in the bottom right, Stork in the bottom left. A long time, again, since I've casted a game on Apocalypse. This was a great map from a few seasons ago. I played a ton of ladder matches here. Some good memories and some bad memories. We'll leave it at that. We got Rush moving forward to go ahead and throw down his barracks at the front. Probably gonna drop a supply depot next to that. Good little micro position to defend against early Zealot if it comes down to it. Stork sending out his probe to get that scouting information. No gas here from Rush. Looks like he wants to gas us fast expand in this game. He's building up those minerals and still not taking his gas in. So yes, it is confirmed. A CC will be coming down here. And so his factory will be quite late. There'll be a good opportunity for Rush to think about breaking, or for Stork to think about breaking Rush. Can he get in there with some Reavers? Maybe he'll go for a bust. Could make a bunch of Dragoons and hit that wall. Just try to bait out the repair to try and slow down his Terran opponent. We'll see what he decides to opt for. He hasn't found Rush's main just yet. Looks like he's sending his first Dragoon that direction. He's going to meet up with some Marines over there at the front. Only the one for the time being. Seems like he's a little bit slow on the Marine ads here. Okay, it's actually a Zealot making its way in. I apologize. This is that Zealot timing with just 2 Marines. He's going to have to fall back to that wall, that makeshift wall that he put together. Great block there with the SCV. Oh my goodness. Barely line backing there for the Marines, preventing this Zealot from getting past. And now he's going to start his bunker. We do have the Zealot running by again into the natural. Did manage to get 1 Marine kill. And will fall shortly thereafter. CC is just about done, and it's way ahead of the Nexus of Stork. So Stork, he really needs to make something happen with this. Whatever tech that he's working on right now, he absolutely needs to get some level of damage onto the side of Rush. It's a robo before range, so rangeless robo. We're going to see a very fast shuttle. There's the range starting now. Will he get a second gateway as well? He's a little bit strapped for cash with this Nexus going down. Barely able to make Dragoons at the moment. But it's going to be very difficult to deal damage if he doesn't have a good clutch of Dragoons hitting the front. And Stork is just able to completely focus on defense of the Reaver. Rush is able to defend against a player the caliber of Snow when he goes for Reaver. Will Stork have any chance of breaking open Rush when Rush has so much time to prepare here? He's got such a nice smooth build. He's only lost a single Marine. He has a excellent timed CC. He's already got his eBay up. He's gonna have very nicely placed turrets. Maybe he makes a mistake with the turret placement. That might be the case. This map hasn't been in the pool for a while, and so he may forget exactly where to place those. In order to completely block out a Reaver. Here it comes. Second Zealot pops. Reaver is about to come down as well. Stork thinking about a third base. Getting prepared to take that as the Reaver shuttle heads across the map. We've got double factory back at home. Pumping out a couple more tanks. He's going to have 3 tanks ready to try and defend this Reaver. Shuttle speed is coming up as well as Stork lifts everything up and sends his Reaver across the map. He's banking on some damage right now. And I'm really hoping he can find some. I don't want this series to be over too early, guys. I don't want this to end too soon. And if Rush gets the 4-1, then our chatter will be correct. I can't remember who actually said that. Maybe I'll go back and look, but one of you guys predicted 4-1. The shuttle in here already getting some good damage. Where are the tanks, actually? It's starting to kill these turrets. The tanks are just not around. Okay, the tanks have finally come back, but they should have been here in the main initially when the Reaver got dropped to start to push that out. They finally make it back, and they will be here to block this from dealing any more damage, but Stark got a reasonable poke there to begin this attack. Now he can maybe come back into the main. With the lack of turrets there, Rush is probably building those turrets, rebuilding those turrets now. But there might be another opportunity. There might be another hole in the defense that Stork can utilize. This corner here might actually be that hole. He can drop just far enough away from that mine to get some shots off. There's a big shot. A really good shot there from Stork. I'm surprised he pulled out so quickly. He probably could have started to hit that big clump of supply depots, but maybe he didn't have the APM to continue to pay attention to that and do whatever macro he was attempting to do back at home. He is going to come back now and pick up that extra Reaver as he transfers a bunch of workers over to that third base. Reaver's now going to get sent out, possibly to the high ground, to try to defend that from Rush pushing forward. Make his life a little bit harder as he tries to push out and take his third base. We haven't seen a tech transition from Stork just yet. Can't rule out the carrier switch just yet, though. Here's the first scans coming. Rush going to be scanning the main base and checking that cybernetics core, no doubt. Yeah, he sees no cybernetics core spinning. Again, that doesn't fully rule out the carrier transition, but it's a good indicator that you're not going to be getting that in this game. Tanks are starting to shove forward, taking some space on the map. These two Reavers really do want to fight, but they're going to end up eating a tank shot, and the shuttle almost gets picked off. Not the greatest trades out of Stork this series with his shuttle. Really seems to be lacking in that specific area of his gameplay. Rush is handling the Reaver aggression at just a very high level. Two shuttles heading around the map now. Oh gosh, he left a hole in his natural. These two vultures running in. Oh man. Stork just making a few big mistakes here and there. And it's leading him into a bad game state over and over again. Dropping some zealots in. He's going to use these zealots to actually clear the turrets to open up an area for these two reavers to come in. Now he's going to go after this big clump of supply depots. He's going to get probably all 4 of these. 3 go down so far. Time to start targeting maybe that armory as well. No, armory's not even spinning, so it's not going to be a very high value target. But he does put a big supply block onto Rush. Rush is going to have to make a bunch of extra supplies just to start producing once again. He actually had some on the way, I guess, because he opened the supply just now. With the CC finishing, maybe a couple of supply depots as well. He is going to be able to start producing once again. Rush hanging on very well. I like the attack, though, from Stork. The idea was very good. Sack the initial shuttle to get rid of the turrets and then bring in the second shuttle to bomb onto those very clumped buildings at the back of the base. Draw some attention from Rush and slow him down a little bit. And now he's got a 30, almost 40 supply lead over Rush. Then he has a 4th base that's just about to come up. Stork is not sitting on top of the high ground of Rush, though. In a position where we would usually see the Protoss army on Apocalypse. Waiting for the aggression to start to come out. For Rush to try and push up that ramp. That is where a lot of Protoss players historically have broken Terran players. Right as they try to push up onto this high ground plateau. That's where the difficulties lie for the Terran player. And so it's nice to see Stork moving forward now, getting into this good position. He's going to drop zealots on top of this. Is he really going to attack into this, though? There are so many buildings in the mix. He's going to drop the 2 reavers over here and try his best to deal with these 2 tanks. The tanks are actually going to go down, but both the reavers die. That's not the trade that he wanted. The zealots are getting down here, but the dragoons have been targeting down the buildings for the most part. He killed the barracks there that was floating and both of the supply depots, so you know how much DPS was wasted out of these dragoons. He does kill all of the tanks, though. In the end, this turns out to be a pretty successful bust. He's slowed down Rush quite a bit. He is going to eat this mine. That is unfortunate. The CC does not have to be lifted, nor is it killed, and the SCVs can come back to mine in just a moment. Still dropping the Terran supply to just 87, killing off all the tanks. These are very good things, very good points in the favor of Stork right now. More probes are going to be sent down to that bottom right. This fresh 4th base is going to get to mining now with 60 probes. Is there going to be this transition? I'd love to get a shot of the main. Templar are coming out. Surprised to see that he didn't wait for Storm before going for that attack. But he's going to have it for a follow-up push when that eventually comes out. Rush is going to have to take some time, though, to slowly build up to a reasonable supply. He's only at 100. Needs to wait for at least, I think, 60 more supply before coming out against this Protoss. And Stork is on the move. He's moving up towards this base. It's not that well defended. The buildings that were there previously have not been fully rebuilt yet. He's throwing down some turrets, though. As Stork moves forward to start to clear these mines. Is he going to dive upon this? He's got Templar and Storm, and the Dragoon number is not, or excuse me, the tank number is not that high. See if he can bust straight on through this. Going to dive on top with the Zealots on the tanks. Templar are going to be dropped. Storms on a lot of these units. Storms on the back tanks as well. Great Storm there, killing off a lot of the Vultures in the mix. As he backs up a little bit, he might be able to move to the north and delete this CC. If he manages to force the C to lift again, That could be a really big moment. Oh, baiting in the mine there. That was amazing. That did so much damage. Drops an Archon and actually kills a tank with it as well. This is some great control from Stork. He's lacking a little bit on his overall macro though, and he's also taking damage back at home. He's not paying attention to this at all. He's just focused on pushing the issue over here at the third base, killing off a lot of these tanks, dropping Archons again. Doesn't really get as much damage. He finally notices all his probes are dead at this base. So many kills on this. It's insane. That tank down there did the Lord's work for Rush. Absolute destruction of that probe line. 47 remain. So lost maybe around 15 probes at that base. Making his way over here towards the main now. Drops her out. This base only has one single cannon. Dropping still on top of these tanks. A storm as well. Oh my gosh, that's some great damage. Not as good as that tank drop, but still really good damage on these SCVs over at the third base. Another storm. Oh my god, so many kills. So many kills on this base. It's insane. Some more probes are going to go down. Over at center left, both players smashing their respective economies. Stork has done a lot of damage here with that storm, and Rush continuing to deal damage with these drops, even on workers now. 50 to 52. Rush a little bit behind on supply, but it's still a doable. It's certainly not the end. I'm gonna go ahead and pick up into this dropship once again. My goodness, has Rush ever been tenacious with this drop? I'm gonna send it into the main, at least to kill these gas mining probes. Slowing down that gas for a little bit. Cutting off the ability to make more Templar, at least for the moment. Very annoying stuff for Stork, who's struggling to multitask. At just 200 APM, he's dropped so far below what a normal pro player should have. Around 350. You can see Rush at 390, but Stork is truly struggling in a moment like this. 180 is pretty common at like a B rank level on the ladder. It's something impressive that Stork has managed to what he's managed to accomplish with such a low APM. And he is still absolutely in this game. He's still 30 supply ahead of Rush. And he's getting his mining back together. He must have an insanely high EAPM. His effective APM must be incredibly high. Whereas probably a lot of Stork's or a lot of Rush's movements are not as important. He's not getting as much done with all of his APM. Great storm there as well. I thought that the mine was going to completely shut that down. It did kill two of those Templars, so preventing a lot of the storm damage, but in the end, some storm damage does come down. Oh my god, this storm, or this siege up is very late. These Templar coming forward. They could get big storms on this back line of tanks. There's like 6 tanks here, 5 tanks sitting right on top of each other. He does get that storm. Follow-up storm. He kills that big clump. Crushing through here. That's so many Templar that he brought to the front. He's actually reset this tank down again. This army was looking very strong for Rush, but it gets wiped out. Stork deals with that attack, and another kind of quick tap out for Rush. He gives up. After losing that army, I really thought he would try to stick it out and fight a little bit longer, but he lets that one go, and now Stork brings it back. 2-3. Thank you so much, Jack, for the extra gems. I really appreciate it, man. I gotta get this updated, actually. These gems here. Jacksonian. Really appreciate it, buddy. The OBS is actually the Spanish caster, excuse me. And he really does do a great job. Eddie says, hey, just so people know what gems is equal to dollars, 50 is about $6 after tax. That's correct. I believe that is correct. So really appreciate the monetary support. This is how we show SOOP that English content is valuable, that it's worth it for them to continue to allow and to support English casting. There we go. I got it. 350 gems now, guys. We're nearing our goal, getting a little bit closer day by day. Again, 20 streams per month, guys. We're on stream number 3 out of 20. I'm hoping we can reach this gems goal by then. I'm going to play you guys a little bit of music here, and I'm going to use a quick bathroom break. So I'll be right back. All right, we are back. Sorry for the wait, guys. Are you ready to get back into this series? Stork versus Rush. Stork bringing it back now. It's 2-3, still on match point. Rush just needs one more victory. That is it. He will take this series away. Here we go. Game number 6. Blitz Y. Very fun map. We've had some legendary games played on this map throughout the years. SSL most recently comes to mind with Snow versus Soul Key. That game is burned forever into my memory, and I'm sure for Snow as well. That will be a game that remains in infamy for him for throughout all time. We should be getting into this one soon, guys. Here we go. Rush in the bottom right. Stork in the top right. Blitz Y for the 2-player map, and a very quick probe has been sent out. This probe making its way across the map. He'll be stealing this gas to put the initial pressure onto Rush and to force him to play his game. I don't think Rush is too concerned about opening with gasless fast expand. He seems to be quite adept at that style. We'll see if he cancels an SCV and goes for the gas, though. It does hurt the economy quite a bit to do so, but he might opt for that. Is he going to cancel? Oh, he gets it. Oh my gosh, and he didn't cancel the worker either. Did manage to get that gas down. Stork has sent out a very early probe in order to steal this gas, but he messed it up. Wasn't able to get that, and now Rush is going to be feeling in a very good position. He's even getting some good damage on this probe. Look at how little damage the SCV on the barracks has taken. And Rush has managed to shave the shields off of that probe. Bringing it down to half HP now. SCV is going to turn and run, but the probe is already badly damaged. And so this early probe sent across the map really didn't get much of anything done aside from forcing one SCV off the mineral line for a little bit to try and chase that around. This is a bit rough for our Protoss player. He's opted for a gateway out in the front as well. He's trying to put on some zealot pressure. And so the first zealot's gonna pop out. Wait, where's that zealot? That's interesting. To build a gateway out in the front like this and then not build a zealot is a little bit confusing to me. Not sure exactly where his head's at with this. He's also got the cybernetics core in the natural, which is so much easier to scout. The SCV can just quickly come in and confirm that there's a upgrade on the way. Doesn't need to go out of his way at all. And so he sees that the Dragoon is heading across the map. One Vulture's about to pop out. It's like CC will start first, and the Marines will be utilized to push back this Dragoon along with one Vulture until he needs to throw down a barracks. He doesn't need to do it just yet. Can shove this back. He sees the CC being built. Important information there. And he knows that there's not like a factory out on the map or something, a 2-factory build heading his direction. The Vulture is out though, and is looping around the left-hand side. A barracks will begin in this natural, and before the second Dragoon can even arrive, there should be that bunker finished up with 3 Marines inside. Let's see if he can get inside there in time. Is he gonna lose a Marine before the bunker finishes? Oh, just barely keeping that alive. Very important that he was able to do that. Pylon over at the natural, blocking out the Vultures. Not gonna allow that to sneak in. Not this time, or at least not for now. Can't say too much about the future though. He's had a really hard time blocking the Vultures and preventing them from getting in. He does get 1 probe kill. Will he lose the Vulture though? Uh-oh. That is certainly not worth it. Losing the Vulture for a single probe kill. This really hurts the Terran. That is a terrible trade. Oftentimes we argue back and forth about whether it's good to trade 2 probes for the initial Vulture, and many Terran players will say no. They would rather have the mines out on the map for the map control. But trading a single probe for Vulture, I think everyone agrees that that certainly isn't worthwhile. Now Stork out here on the map with the Dragoons. Need to be careful not to allow this Vulture to place Dragoon or place mines behind his Dragoons, and in fact he's gonna find this and drive it back. That was the 3rd mine, and so there will be no more. This Vulture is kind of a dead weight at the present moment. Can kind of run around and scout, maybe look for a probe that might be coming out, but other than that, low HP and no mines available. It's just gonna be sent around the map on a scouting mission. We will have... Oh, wow. Okay. Interesting. So he's gone for Reaver, and now Stork is gonna drop a probe for this island base in center right. Very curious move from Stork. Haven't seen a TVP on BlitzY for a long time, but I don't remember many players trying this strategy. There's an eBay floating in this direction, and it might actually see the Nexus once it starts. Might catch on to the probe as well, even before the Nexus gets thrown down. Reaver shuttle heading over towards this main base. What's the setup looking like? 1 Goliath. Oh, he hides the probe underneath the doodad there. That's funny. Maybe he can keep that out of range of the eBay and try to hide that base. Picking up once again. Yeah, this is gonna fly right past. Looks like that'll be hidden for now. Kind of a funny interaction here, but he hasn't mined out that mineral patch yet. And he's gonna just shove back this eBay, actually shoving it back towards his hidden base. Not sure how much I like that. Maybe he can actually bring it down to start burning, and so Stork will bring it all the way back home to repair. That's still a effective scout, though. For the time being, more gateways coming online. Stork gearing up, getting his production really rolling now. Extra factories being thrown down for Rush. And will he move to take a third before doing any sort of push? He's been very reliant on 2 base pushes so far, and the games where he's opted to take a third haven't gone the best for him. Really, all of his wins are off of pretty quick pushes. And Stork just kind of falling apart, not able to defend properly those aggressive Terran plays. Now has gotten rid of the mineral patch and he's ready to throw down the Nexus. Takes a lot of APM to pick up probes and drop them over onto that base rather than just transferring. Here comes the carrier transition. Again with the carrier play here on Blitz Y. Any map where there are islands is a great map for carriers, so he spots that Stargate. Now he knows exactly what's coming. And I assume we're just going to see a build similar to what we've seen over and over again out of Rush. Just a 2 base timing attack, shoving out, dealing with the Reaver shuttle, and getting in there right before the carriers reach a critical mass. Here he comes now, starting to push forward. There's quite a bit of ups and downs on this map when it comes to pushing directly across. And so, gonna gun down actually quite a few of these. Oh my gosh, a lot of the Goliaths go down. He actually kills every Goliath. Wow. Doing quite a bit of damage with those Reavers, but losing them as well. That's been a consistent theme. You can say what you want about Stork, but at least he's consistent. He always loses those Reavers immediately. Sometimes he gets damaged, sometimes he doesn't. Not maybe the most consistent ever, but at least he always does the same thing. And now he's going to bring the carriers forward. There's no Goliaths here, and there's no place to build turrets in this little corner. You can see he's building turrets a little bit ahead of this position, but Zealots are going to come up here, get on top of these tanks. The Marines are going down. The SCVs have died building the turrets, and the carriers are starting to get to work on these tanks. This is a much better hold for Stork. He will be able to push this back now. He has the Nexus up on that island. Let's see where he scanned. He actually scanned and saw the hidden base. The island base has been revealed. Rush is now aware of that, and he is aware of this observer as well, so he picks it off immediately. No probes have been transferred down to that third just yet, but it looks like Stork wants to take another base over here at the front. He's got the probe out there. Maybe that's just a bait probe. That's just a probe that says, I want to take a base here. Whereas he's truly saturated, or saturating that base down on the low ground. 4 carriers are ready to fight this off. Push coming out from Rush. It's managed to hide itself out in the middle of the map rather than heading along the catwalk. Has sort of surprised Rush here, or surprised Stork here, arriving directly into his natural. Fighting down from high ground. The carriers will not be able to dive upon these, or the Goliaths will not be able to dive upon the carriers. And so the carriers are getting massive damage, cutting off these SCVs as well, preventing them from finishing those turrets. Lack of observers is really hurting Stork. After picking off as many as he has, there's no wonder that Stork is having a hard time bringing the excess observers to the front. I don't even know if he has any extra observers out on the map just at the moment. He's desperately trying to make a couple of Reavers to hold on to his natural, and he is holding onto this natural. He is blocking this. He is preventing the army from getting in here and killing, and I guess Rush is probably just going to tap out, as he's done a lot of times on this are in this tournament so far. Rush taps out pretty early on. As soon as the push doesn't work, he knows that he's in a very bad position. His win chance has dropped way below acceptable levels, and he just gets out of the game immediately. Guys, 3-3 now. Stork has brought this series back to a conclusive 7th game. Radion is the final map, the most standard map that we have. Now, will he be able to close this one out against Rush? It all comes down to this next game. It did go all the way, guys. Let's go. Our SOOP Duel series so far. We've only made it to game 6 in the first 2 matches here. We're going to get all the way to game 7. Are we going to see a final carrier run? I think we are, guys. Stork is extremely consistent. And he finally managed to defeat the 2-base timing push of Rush. He's figured him out, maybe. Here he is, Stork, in the bottom right-hand corner. Is he man enough to Nexus first again against Rush? Spawning up in the top left-hand corner. Does he predict the Nexus first and go CC first himself? It worked out fantastic for him in the past. Let's see if he's got the cojones. Let's see if Stork, is he willing to put it all on the line here for a Nexus first cross map? It would be absolutely the right choice. He has no idea where his opponent has spawned, though. He's sending out that probe. It looks like a gateway. And so he's not gonna risk it all. He's not going to play that game. Expecting that Rush may be able to punish. He thinks that possibly the way that last one went, he's capable of winning without the advantage of Nexus first, and Rush is going to send out his first SCV. Will he take his gas? We're at 13 total supply, and the gas has not been taken. A gasless fast expand once again from Rush. We're seeing a very similar game to the last one, except no gateway on low ground this time, and no attempt to steal the gas. But cross map here, I think Rush is going to be very happy with his gasless fast expand. Stork is going to need to do something. He's going to need to either get incredibly greedy, double down on the greed. I don't think that's going to be the best way for him to play, because as we've seen, Rush is completely competent at punishing that. Maybe he needs to go for some sort of cheeky bust, or perhaps directly into 2-base carrier. It's such a long push distance, it might take too much time for Rush to come across and actually punish that play, but alternatively... Oh, almost stole the gas there. That's funny. That was really close. That probe was on a mission. And it thought about stealing the gas, which would have been quite annoying. Rush gets it down in time. What I was about to say before that probe came into the main is this is a very wide open map. It's such a long distance to fly your carriers around the outside. Flying through the middle, though, is very dangerous. All that open ground is perfect for the Goliaths to run forward and try to shoot that thing down. A robotics is coming out now. And it is going to be made before range. So once again, opening rangeless. It's all been spotted by Rush. as he loops around the main base. He knows exactly what he's up against. I think he's going to be completely content to just play his game here. He hasn't been broken by Stork early in any of these games. Stork has opted for a more relaxed stance, trying to back up and go for it. Macro games, try to get into carriers more often than not. And so Rush confidently throwing down his 2 factories. He's going to prepare for a nice long game here. Definitely confident that he can deal with the Reavers of Stork. Stork's Reavers really haven't done much this game, or this series, excuse me. This series, I think we've seen pretty clearly the difference between a player like Stork and a player like Snow. Certainly Stork has some good ideas. He's certainly competent with his decision making, but his Reaver control is just not quite there. It's not quite at the level of a lot of these other Korean Protoss bros. Looking to possibly take a 3rd base. He's already got the pylon going down. How early is he going to try and take this? Because every time we've seen him try to take a super early 3rd base, he's been punished by Rush, and I don't think Rush is going to let him get away with it this time either. We're approaching that 6-minute mark. More factories are being set up. Rush is going to go up to 4 facts. And that is the perfect number of factories to punish an early Nexus. If that's indeed what he wants to go for. He's going to get in with this observer and spot everything. And he starts the Nexus already. He's already started that Nexus. Is he going to cancel when he sees this? Or will he just try to bite down and hold the attack of Rush coming through here soon? There's the 4 factories. He's got to be aware that he's going to be under immense pressure here soon. No second gas yet for Stork. Not ready to do any sort of teching. Just needs to get some more gateways out. Can't be sitting here on 2 gateways when Rush is pumping on 4 factories. I'd like to get a shot of Stork's base and see exactly what he's working with right now, because I really don't think he has too much. This tank push is coming out. It's looking scary. Non-stop vulture rallies are going to be coming from behind this. Oh, this is a really good attack from Stork, actually. He gets 1 tank caught out immediately. 2 tanks go down right off the bat. 2 tanks for 2 Dragoons is an amazing trade. Runs forward again. Can he actually get the 3rd tank? Oh, he's got to target the right tank here. Ooh, he almost messed that up. But also almost got 4 tanks out of Rush's army. In the end, only 3, and the 1 was badly damaged. Going to be repaired now. Trying to run by with these vultures. Where's the control from Stork? He's backing up. Trying to keep these alive. The vultures are right on top of him. This is some great targeting, man. He is doing some excellent stuff with his targeting. Gonna get some damage onto one of these tanks as well. Observers are out now. Sounds like 1 mine did end up connecting. And the army is moving over towards his 3rd base. I don't see siege mode just yet. There it is. Siege mode finishes up, and he's going to be able to siege and push back these Dragoons. The rallies here slowly moving forward from Stork are just not going to be enough. Running into the natural now. Here comes the Reaver. Can the Reaver hold everything? It really needs it to. 1 tank left. 1 tank, guys. But vultures are going to make their way into the main. Oh, great block there with the 1 Zealot. Keeping this alive for now. 1 vulture makes its way in. Another vulture comes forward. Can he actually hit that Reaver? Doesn't seem like he can. The Reaver, I think it might have actually... Okay, there it is. It drops on top of the tank, gets rid of it right now. Probes are trying to be transferred. That's a little bit of a suicidal maneuver. Oh my god! Probes get hit by one of those mines. The mine connection there, changing this game entirely. Great spot here, dropping right between these two tanks, not allowing either tank to fire as he tries to clear this up. Down to just 39 probes. He's desperately trying to hold on to this third base, but it's really not doing anything for him. Vultures run up and try to lay down some mines, but it seems like Stork will hold this. That Reaver is going to be crucial, though, for the upcoming hold. Big mine connection there, killing off 2 Dragoons. There's only 3 tanks remaining. He can drop the Dragoon on top of the tanks and start to open up the position. The Reaver going to be juggled in and out, dropped in between the shots here. Very good shots from that Reaver, cleaning up a lot of this. Another Dragoon goes down. More Vultures making their way to the front. Rush is just overwhelming him with macro, and the rally coming forward, barely able to bust through. I don't think Stork has enough anymore. 43 workers, and he's not able to produce enough to just shut this down. What Rush has just been bringing forward to him every time and time again. Here we go, dropping a Zealot there, drags the mine. Waiting for a break in the shots here with these tanks. He's going to take out one of the tanks, but loses the Reaver now. Finally, the Reaver going down. It's done an excellent job of holding on up until this moment, but it does finally fall. More Vultures making their way into the natural, just ping-ponging damage back and forth. Rush is not giving Stork a second to breathe. Just cutting off his air constantly and diving back and forth like this. This is this is some really cute stuff. Does eventually lose that Vulture, but he was trying to make the Scarab bug for as long as possible while keeping the Vultures behind those mineral patches. Now going to get back to mining here at the natural, but Stork is in a very bad way. He's 20 workers down, and he just lost his third base, something that he committed to a little bit too early. Again, Rush has punished this play time and time again. Stork just can't seem to get away with that early third base, and this game is going to be no different. A lot of mines dangerously close to those probes. He's not aware of it right now, but if he was, I think he would like to get rid of those. You never know when a Zealot, you know, bounces off a Dragoon and walks in the wrong direction. You lose your entire probe line. A lot of Vultures running by. They're going to be laying down mines in the pathway of reinforcements. Oh, he just lost a bunch of Dragoons. I saw it on the minimap, and I heard it. Here comes those mines once again. Killing off the eggs now and getting into this natural, and now up into the main as well. Oh my gosh, he's taking so much damage. He's gonna lose so many probes inside this main. Pulls the probes and does kill one of these Vultures, but now he's got to come all the way back into the main just to deal with this. He starts another third base. Stork is desperate for more income. He needs to start out macroing Rush a little bit, start getting some more income going so that he can match this army, which is just cranking out of Rush. He's been sitting back for a while and only using Vultures to continuously harass Stork. He's built up a pretty sizable tank count. What does Stork have to deal with this? I don't think it's much. This is a very modern army. 3-4 Goliaths in total, ready to gun down any shuttles that come forward, with a big clutch of tanks and a few Vultures in support. There are 2 shuttles here for Stork. This is going to be a desperate last stand. Look at the supply differential, as our observer points out. 141 to just about 100. 3 shuttles making their way across the map. He's got some Reavers in there, a few Dragoons as well, but there are a ton of mines here to defend. The Reaver pops out. Can it do a lot of damage? Well, he's going to maybe take out that tank, but tanks are setting up just out of range of these Dragoons and starting to rain hell on these units. He gets a big shot there on the Reaver, and the Reaver is about to go down. Meanwhile, his own base is being ravaged. He's just about cooked here. And there it is. Stork taps out Rush. takes him down with this 2-base timing attack once again. I think that's really been the theme of this match, that Stork is excellent in late game if he can make it there, but the 2-base timing attack seems to be his kryptonite. He wasn't able to find an antidote to the chaos that Rush was bringing to these games. A very nice series here, going all the way to game number 7. Guys, we're going to have another SOOP Duel series. That'll be out in just 2 days. That'll be on Sunday at actually, I'm not sure if it's going to be the same time. I'll have to update you guys on that. Go ahead and just pay attention to the YouTube feed. I'll be making posts updating you guys. We're gonna settle on a time that works for both myself and the Spanish stream, and then we'll do it in conjunction. We'll do it at the same time, and hopefully it'll be really good quality. And we'll be able to integrate some extra parts, some bonus stuff in there as well. And yeah, it'll be fun. We'll get a consistent time. We'll get a time that everyone can be happy with. It's mostly geared towards North America, of course. So you Europeans out there, I apologize. There's not much I can do about that. It's mostly going to be geared towards NA for now. And we'll get a consistent time going. It'll probably be like a couple of hours earlier if I had to guess. This is a little bit of a late time. We're here starting at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll probably start around like 8 or 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the future. But I am not at home right now. I'm kind of on vacation, so wasn't able to fully commit to that schedule just yet. Had to work with what we had at the time, but we'll be getting back to our normal schedule here in March. Gonna be heading back home in a couple of days, so that'll all be worked out within the next week. Proxy Oxy, damn, I gotta learn Spanish now. Well, if it's for Broodwar, I'll make it happen. That is some serious dedication. Look at this man, dedicated. He's not even gonna learn Korean. He's gonna learn Spanish for Broodwar. I actually thought about learning Korean. After I finish learning Japanese, we might move in that direction. I still need to learn Japanese though. Made a promise, so I need to follow through. Yeah, up almost 20 workers at the end of that one. It was tough. That was a really tough fight for Stork. Rush looked pretty on point this series. I think his 2-base push looked pretty on point. I'm not sure. Yeah. The graphics shows Stork won. Yeah, I guess our Spanish caster made a bit of a mistake there, but it's all good. We can see clearly that Rush got 4 wins. He won that last game. It's all good. I'm sure he corrected it after the fact. Yeah, Siglu Pilot. The Terran players won. Let's go. Should definitely tune into SCSL this season if you like Terran. There's almost a full Terran lineup in the round of 8, and probably I guess the round of 4 as well, of course, because that's the way tournaments work. Those will be coming out on the Starcast TV channel, and I'm going to be co-casting with Naokin on a lot of that. Next season for SCSL, it'll be me and Shun. SCSL is an ongoing series, Proxy Oxy. It's been going on Starcast TV for many years. And the current season is hosted by Nyokin, but I'm in there as well as a co-caster for the round of 8 and for the semi and finals, I think. Next season of SCL starts as soon as this season of SCSL ends. So it'll be going, yeah, it'll be going just as soon as that one's done. No worries, man. No worries. I don't have any control over it. It's all up to Cruiser when he wants to start that. I know he's already asked us to start pre-recording some of those SCSL games so that we can have a bit of a backlog in case anything goes wrong. Thank you to everybody for watching. Big shout outs to those of you who participated, who gifted today. Looks like we're having some issues with OBS. Thank goodness it didn't happen until the end of the stream. Something is going on with the internet right now. We've got Gifter, Eddie Slide, and Nexus's a Cardiacs. Thank you so much for the bits. Let's see. Who else donated bits today? Jacksonian for the 50 bits. Really appreciate you, man. Or 50 gems, excuse me. Everyone who supported with gems, really appreciate you guys. This is how we show our value to SOOP. They've given me a goal here, and so that's what we're trying to accomplish. We've got 350 out of 3,000 gems. We're just over 10% of the way there. Every little bit helps, guys, so be sure to donate if you enjoy the stream. I'll be happy to shout you guys out. To hit every month, Nateness. This is a monthly stream goal, so I'll be happy to shout you guys out for helping to support. Hopefully we can reach this goal and continue to reach the goal going forward. Continue to keep this great series alive. I'll be relying on you guys for that. Thank you so much for watching. We're gonna end here. This will be out on YouTube in a couple of days. I'm gonna release the KCM tonight, so definitely go and watch that. It'll be out in just 7 hours. 7 hours from now, the KCM week 3 will be out on my channel, so go enjoy that. Have a great weekend, guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.